Right, Nomvula, sorry, I lost my notes earlier. I have a tweet I need to read to you because I think it illustrates one of the issues, which says that 10,000 litres a second of water is used by South Africa's energy giant Eskom, which kind of illustrates the interlinkages that the other panelists have been speaking about. Well, you may want to comment on that along with anything else you'd like to say.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. The growth of our economy is highly dependent on energy as compared to mineral resources of now late. And the contributing party in this regard would then be water supply. But what has been an issue between energy and water has been the issues of the tariffs, has been the issues of water management and the reuse of water. And indeed, we have to, like I said, appreciate that water and energy are interdependent. And therefore, you have to make sure, therefore, that there's better water management as well as the ability to reuse water. Just to pick up on what was said about Ebola, one of the things that has to come out of the two goals must also be about creation of sustainable livelihoods, so that then it is not something that does not have a human feel in it, so that we do not only get excited of realizing the targets in terms of access, but access that would take time precisely because of the developing levels of our different countries, and therefore transnational interventions become quite key. And two, I think the issue of affordability, and I want to chip in a bit on the issue of affordability. We launched the South African Renewable Energy Strategy, but what has actually come out in its implementation is the cost. And that cost is the one that has actually slowed the pace. And what we have since done is to then create a knowledge-based kind of community in the country through skills development, localization of industries so that to create jobs in that process, and continuous research and information gathering. And it is only now that the implementation is picking up. Because in many instances, a strategy gets developed without the means to implement. And what we have now done is to look at that and see how best it must actually take. The cost just of solar energy for a household in South Africa is quite exorbitant. And yet government provides free basic services for water and electricity. Precisely because we see this again as a basic human right. The issue of affordability also becomes important, and it also depends on affordability for who, and therefore the vulnerable groups become those that have to be taken on board and make sure that there's cross subsidization, and I think that's what currently is an issue with the South African private sector, and we quite keen in taking them along so that then there can be cross-subsidization from the private sector into the public sector, but also ensuring that there's better use of both energy and water. The last thing I want to also raise is that we support universal access. And if you look at our performance in terms of the MDGs, we have actually over-surpassed the targets precisely because of the drive and the reconstruction of our own country. We are both over 90% on water as well as on energy. However, one of the things that we are now beginning to respond to in the 5th administration is the issue of community participation, and the second one it's about skills development for the country, and the third one is about coordination and, most importantly, reviewing the legislative environment. Those are the three things that we are now looking at that we believe can be in a position to make us realize all the two goals, but more importantly, some of the sub-goals that are on goal number 6. They require a lot of